Allow me to introduce you to the Sterling by Music Man intro series. There are a few things that go into making a truly great beginner guitar, and three of those are looks, feel, and sound. And I think this guitar has all three of them, spoiler alert. But also has another one that I think is also very important with a beginner guitar, and that is longevity. Now these are the Sterling by Music Man intro series. Now for those who may not know, Sterling is the cheaper brand to Ernie Music Man. Think Squire to Fender, Epiphone to Gibson, Ibanez to Ibanez, you get the deal. And as the name suggests, the intro series is the new introduction to that brand. At this point in time, these guitars are coming under £300, which for the caliber of instrument you're getting, I think is an absolutely great deal. So let's just dive right in and I'll say a few things that I particularly like about it. Now, if we're to look at the pickups of this guitar, what it has opted for is that classic HSS configuration, which means when you're on the bridge, it's going to handle all those big riffs nice and easy. It's not to say you can't use those single coils for all your distortion as well. It's just going to give you more and more variety in your tones, which I think is really, really important when it comes to a beginner guitar. So we've heard how it handles the distortion, but how does it handle the clean? Well, with those single coils there, you can get a variety of those super classic sort of Fender Strat tones as well, including all those in-between positions. So loads of variety just within the pickups. Now, if we're to talk about the next thing that I think is very important with beginner guitars, that's the feel. Now, that's all going to come down to the neck of this guitar. Now, this isn't the skinniest of necks, which I think may put a few beginner players off, but personally for myself, I do quite like a slightly chunkier neck on a guitar. It's something that I've kind of come around with just time and with just playing new guitars and whatnot. Now, it's not particularly wide. Now, I can't, it's quite hard to describe within a video, but what I would say is this is almost kind of like a shallow, sort of C shape. So it's not so much like a U, so it's not particularly deep as it like that would be, but like still quite flat, but it's not super chunky like lengthways like that. So I'm able to sort of, get my hand around the neck, my thumb around the neck, sorry there, if I need to. But for anybody that's actually kind of getting to grips with playing, especially if you play an acoustic at the same time as well, I think this is going to, you're going to handle it no bother at all. And with that, it may just obviously develop your tastes as the time goes on. Now, the third point being looks-wise. We've already kind of touched on the design of this guitar. I think it looks absolutely stunning. Just a really, really cool sort of like off-kilter sort of like Strat shape. Now, it does come in a vintage white. I've got that with me today. But there are another couple of colours as well, unfortunately, I didn't have with me today, which are the electric blue and the sunrise orange. Now, both of those have got the slightly darker fretboards on them, opting for an Amaranth fretboard on it. Not something you need to really worry about if you are a beginner, but they will have slightly different feels and obviously different looks to them. Now, my fourth point that I was talking about at the start of the video as well, being the longevity of the instrument. Now, I do think this instrument kind of transcends that beginner sort of aspect. Now, what I mean by that is that, like, once you're a couple of years into your playing, there's usually something that happens where you kind of like are drawn to that like next level of guitar, say like the mid-tier pricing, or, just something that's got slightly higher specs or something that's slightly different to the guitar that you started with. With this guitar, I do feel that the same sort of quality that Sterling are putting on, say, their £600 and above instruments, that goes into the build construction of this. So the neck of this, it feels absolutely stunning. There's no sharp fret edges on it whatsoever. Everything feels really, really well put together. And all that's really being kind of skipped on, I would say, in terms of like cost, are things like the tuners, the bridge, the pickups and whatnot, which are all quite modular and can be replaced. Now, that is obviously a whole sort of can of worms in itself, but if, you were to move on to another guitar, this would be such a solid second guitar as well that you can have in, say, another tuning or as a backup if you're playing live. But I guess kind of like my feelings towards particularly this guitar, as someone who has had experience with a Sterling Music Man playing live myself, I wouldn't have any bother with playing this live at all, even just as in itself. Again, maybe kind of the first thing I would pay attention to is the tuners, but that's only if you're like really going quite crazy on the bridge there. But that breadth of sound, the ease of sort of tweaking, which I've not even touched on as well, because it does have that truss rod adjuster at the bottom of the neck. If you're a beginner, don't worry about that, you'll learn it in time. But then yeah, I'm getting all I need out of the sounds on there. It feels great, and I think looks great as well. But tell me what you think about the Sterling Music Man intro series in the comments down below. And actually, while you're there, let me know what your first guitar was. Mine was a Yamaha ERG 121 that my mum got from an Argos catalogue. I'm pretty sure I still have it somewhere back home. Thanks for storing that for me, Mum. But while you're down there, give us a like and a subscribe as well, because you can keep up with all the latest news at Guitar HQ. But until next time, this has just been a very quick look at the Sterling by Music Man intro series. Have a great day.